Hello. This is going to be my analysis of Sula's Civ4 Survivor series, Season 6, Game 8. For those of you who don't know, this series is run by a guy named Sula, who's a really cool guy. What it is he sets up these AIs in Civ4 and just watches them go. He just runs through the game with only AIs duking it out against each other. The rest of us, we all just watch the game and make predictions and try to guess how it's going to go. It sounds weird, but I promise you it's really fun once you get into it. Usually I just sort of wing it and make predictions based on gut instinct without thinking too hard. This time I thought, I'll put some more effort into it this time. I'll try to do a deep dive and give you my best analysis as best as I possibly can. That said, analyzing this is really hard, so don't expect a super accurate prediction here. All right, let's get started. Starting here with the overview, all these pictures are just on Sula's website. Overview of the map as a whole, and wow, it's a weird looking map. Normally the maps are just sort of a square blob. It's very unusual to see these inlets and peninsulas like this. I don't know why that happened, this is just random. But that does shape the map a lot. It creates this choke point here. In theory, you could block it with Korea here could just expand and block the whole peninsula. I don't think they'll be aggressive enough to do that. I don't think it would really help them if they did. The main thing to notice is that there's just not going to be a lot of east to west interaction. So these three in a group over here and these two are in a group over here. They're probably not going to meet each other until the very end of the game. Don't expect a lot of interaction between them. These two in the middle, England and Korea, they can be almost anyone, could go any direction, could go to war with anyone, could ally with anyone. Leader-wise, I'll go around. We've got Victoria of England here, Montezuma of Aztec here, Zaria Kobe of Ethiopia here, Justinian of Byzantine here, Wang Kon of Korea here, Darius of Persia here, and Hannibal of Carthage here. You've got two very militaristic leaders, Hannibal and especially Montezuma. They love to go to war, they love building units. Montezuma is very religious, so he'll instantly go to war with anyone who's a different religion than him. Even then, he'd just go to war at the drop of a hat. Hannibal not quite as much, but he'll still go to war a lot. Montezuma, really a bad leader. I would say probably the worst leader in the whole game as an AI. The main effect he has is just to ruin someone else's game by being a spoiler for them. So it's bad for anybody who starts next to him, especially Zaria Kobe. And Zaria Kobe is also a religious leader, so he'll probably look to get a religion. He'll be a different religion than Montezuma, and they'll be worst enemies until one of them dies. Justinian will also be a different religion, and he'll hate Montezuma too, but at least they'll be on the opposite sides of the map. Anyway, I expect this side of the map will be heavily shaped by religion. This side, not as much. Neither of those two leaders really cares about religion. However, Hannibal has a low peace weight, Darius has a high peace weight. They'll hate each other. Hannibal will go to war. They're kind of far away. I don't know if anything will come of it, but they won't get along. In the middle, Victoria and Wang Kon have the same high peace weight of 8. They will get along, so that'll be great for them. And they'll also get along with Darius, although I don't know if they'll really help him or not. Alright, I think that's about all I can get from the high-level overview. Now I'm going to go around and look at all their starting positions in detail and talk about the leaders in detail a little bit more. Starting with Justinian, he's seeded because he did so well in past seasons of the game. Like I said, he's a very religious leader. He starts with mysticism, almost always goes for an early religion, but he makes it work. For some reason, it just seems to work out for him. Like he'll convert someone else to his religion, and then he has an ally, and that helps a lot. Just having an ally helps. I don't like his starting techs of mysticism and wheel, especially because he'll go for religion, so he can't do much early on. That his growth will be a little slowed down. But he has this nice little peninsula to himself, nice and tucked away, so it's okay for his start to be a little slow. I like this land a lot. Lots of rivers, corn and pigs next to his capital. metal. He has no horses, but he does have metal. He can't get his unique unit, but he can defend himself. Like I said, lots of rivers, lots of good places for cottages. Not a lot of happiness, some. So he'd be a little short on happiness in the early game, but the religion will help with that. Yeah, I like his start. That's all I can say. It's not like the best start ever, but I like it. Next up is Hannibal, and I do not like his start. So he also has corn and pigs. However, his starting techs are fishing and mining. So again, he can't make use of them early on. He's also choked in jungle. Like, all of this land is just jungle, 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 jungle. He'll have to tech his way up to ironworking and then slowly clear away the jungle. I think he'll eventually get there. He's militaristic, so he'll get iron relatively fast, but it's still going to take him a while. Even this rice is choked under jungle, so right away, like, where is his first settler supposed to go? There's no good location for his first settler to go. I just think that's an awful starting location for him. I mean, he's financial. He can just settle along the coast and work coastal tiles, and the AI gets crazy both growth bonuses, so it's not like he wouldn't be totally screwed the way a human would, but don't expect a lot from him. Next up is Darius, and it's kind of the same problem, maybe even worse. I mean, Hannibal, with the jungle, he could be good in the long term, but Darius has desert. Just desert, 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 desert. Desert produces nothing. It's useless. Some plains tiles, those are not useless, but not good. Very little food. You've got 2 food roosters over here, so he could put in a city here and here, I guess, something like that. It's an AI, so they'll probably just put one here. And then there's no other food. Like, that's it. I guess you have this one grassland cow. And then just work the coast. That's all you can really do, is work the coast. I like Darius as a leader. He's financial. He builds a lot of cottages. But there's nothing for him to do. I don't want to completely underestimate him, because a financial deity is so scary always, but this land is just garbage. I'm sorry, it is. There's a lot of it, but it's garbage. He's got a gold mine over here. He's some happiness, but he can't work it because there's no food. Moving on. Monty. Now this land, opposite. I like the land, I hate the leader. He's got fur, he's got ivory, pigs right next to his capital, corn, lots of rivers, lots of happiness. Stone, I guess, if he wants to build wonders, but he won't. 2 coppers, horses, iron, like, all the resources are here. Lots of green grassland, lots of rivers, lots of forest, no jungle at all. Coastline if he wants it, but he doesn't need to. He can just settle along these rivers, and if he was smart, he would build cottages and take away. However, he is not smart. It's Monty, so we know what he's going to do. He's going to settle towards his closest neighbor, hate his neighbor, and go to war. He's also going to get a religion. He'll go for a religion right away. And one thing, so Monty starts with hunting and mysticism, and these are resources that give a bonus with hunting. The fur is here and the ivory here. So he might actually get the fastest overall research early on. He'll definitely win the first religion. He might be able to convert Zara Yacob to his religion, but I don't know if it'll last. And he's far enough away from Victoria, he can't just immediately go for her. I mean, maybe he could, but it'd be weird to settle over here. It seems like there's more resources over here. It's very unpredictable. Which way will he settle, and which way will the religions go? But he'll definitely go to war with someone and mess it up. Now, some people said, given this land, he could just develop and become this runaway snowball. I guess, but I do not believe in Montezuma. He'll just throw away axemen against archers that are fortified and not do anything. next up is Victoria. You can't really see it, but Victoria is to the west of Montezuma. So here's Victoria and here's Montezuma. She's decently far away, but there's nothing in between them. So I expect they'll go to war eventually, but not right away. Her starting location, well, some river. This river is nice to have. She starts with fishing and mining, which doesn't help her at all. But at least she's not super into religion. She's not really into anything. She's kind of middle of the road, does everything to a bit. If she's smart, she'll go for agriculture first, and she might. And then I guess she can just settle along this river. There's no food bonuses here, except for a plains cow and a rice buried under a jungle. So yeah, the limit for her is going to be food, I think. Now the deity AI gets a huge bonus for population. They don't need as much food to grow their cities, so that's not so bad for her. She can just grow and put cottages on all these grassland tiles. And she's financial, so she'll have decent tech. She's got enough land. She's got gems over here. It's very middle of the road. I think she'll do okay. It's possible that she could expand and then just take out Monty late game when he's weak. But it's also possible she'll just get stuck in an endless war with Monty and drag her down. So I don't have any strong feelings about her one way or the other. I don't like her, I don't hate her. Below her is Wang Kon. Now, I do like Wang Kon's starting location. I like it a lot here. Lots of green, lots of rivers. He's financial. He's got some seafood, which gives him food and money. Enough happiness resources. I guess no early happiness, but a lot of calendar resources. Some ivory. He's not next to anyone that's going to threaten him. Like I said at the beginning, he has the same piece weight as Victoria. They're both 8, so they'll get along really well. He'll have time to develop. There's enough clear spaces along this river. He can settle it and then take his time getting to ironworking and chopping down the jungle. And once he does, it's just so much river, grassland, financial is just the best tile for the late game. That's what you want. And a deity AI does not need a lot of it to get a runaway tech lead. He's somewhat religious. He starts with mysticism, but I think he doesn't usually chase an early religion. It's better for him if he doesn't, if he researches, agriculture is what he really needs, or fishing. If he does chase an early religion, he won't get it. It's really better off for him to pick up someone else's religion and have an ally. I think he'll eventually get a late game religion, but yeah, I like this land for him. I know there's not a ton of land, but no one has a ton of land, and especially with, like I said, with his neighbors to the west being kind of weak, I think he can grab a ton of land over here. It's just going to run into a conflict between him and Justinian eventually. Now over here we've got Zara. Now remember what I said at Montezuma. They're nearby. Both are religious. Zara does not start with mysticism, which is unusual for him being so. He favors religion strongly. He cares about it a lot. If someone's the same religion, he'll love him. If not, they'll hate each other. I'm worried that Zara is going to start off immediately going for a religion and just wreck his economy, because he can't improve any tiles here. It's decent land, lots of green, some good rivers, but he can't do anything with it until he gets at least animal husbandry. He needs agriculture and all the development techs, mining, bronze working, animal husbandry, agriculture. Instead, he'll be going mysticism, meditation, priesthood, and just waste his time with that. If he's really insane, he might go all the way towards masonry monotheism and that's like 5 techs deep while he can't develop his cities at all. I don't know if he's that crazy, but he'll definitely waste a lot of time on that. Now it's possible that he'll just be content to share the same religion as Monty, in which case they could actually be friends. But my guess is they won't be. My guess is Zeriakob will get the monotheism religion relatively early. He'll hate Monty, also hate Justinian. All three of them just hate each other, and they'll be endlessly fighting and not getting anywhere. Monty has better land, but he's a stupider AI overall. Neither of them will be able to do anything against each other. And that's all of them. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the overview now and try to sum up everything. This is always the hardest thing. I'm just sort of babbling every single thought I can think of. It's hard to summarize it into any cohesive overall analysis. Like I said, obvious things. Religious tension on the east side. 2 military leaders, Hannibal and Monty. 3 peaceful leaders, Darius, Wang Kon, Victoria. 3 regions, west, center, east. I think these 3 are all going to come into conflict and drag each other down. I think these 2 will also come into conflict, and I don't like their land at all. I like Vicky's land okay, but not as much as Wang Kon and Justinian's land. I think they have the best land. Monty actually might have the best land, but I just hate him as an AI. I think he's garbage. I expect the 2 leaders will be Wang Kon and Justinian. I don't know which one of them will come out ahead. It's really hard to tell. They'll both do well. I think they'll be allied initially, sharing a religion, but at some point Wang Kon will go away and pick up his own religion, maybe the Code of Laws religion or the Philosophy religion, and then they'll start to hate each other and eventually go to war, and I think the game will get decided by that war. It's possible he could go to war with Victoria because they're so close, but they have the same peace weight and just similar in a lot of ways, so I think they'll get along really well. The way I see this going is that it comes down to a war between Wang Kon and Justinian. Wang Kon wins the war and ends up in a dominant position. The other leaders just sort of squabble among themselves and don't get anything done. Vicky rides to second on the coattails of Wang Kon, just like, hey, we get along, don't kill me. That's usually how the second place leader goes. It's just whoever the first place leader likes the most. It's possible Wang Kon could win a domination victory, but he's usually not that aggressive, so I think he'll just ride it out to a spaceship victory. I think it'll be relatively slow, but not super slow. I don't remember what numbers I picked. But yeah, so my picks were Wang Kon 1, Victoria 2, and first to die Montezuma, just because of all of his stupid wars. I picked a relatively high number of wars, 15. Arbitrary guess, I don't know. Just think of that as a somewhat high number of wars, from him going to war, making peace, going to war, making peace. And I picked 340 as a spaceship date because the spaceship victories are relatively slow. But you know, so much of this is just pure blind luck. Which way do they settle? Who gets the religions? Where do the religions spread? Where do the barb cities spread up? Just random chance. So all my time and effort that I went into analyzing this and making predictions, I'd have been better off just flipping a coin. Anyway, looking forward to it. Wish me luck. Bye.